Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's lots to talk about in this video. I'm going to be starting with this piece from Payments, what's this website? PaymentsCardsAndMobile.com, titled, Ripple Tries to Diversify as it Faces Headwinds from the Banks. I've seen worse articles, but I've definitely seen better. So I'm going to share with you chunks of this thing and try to provide some proper context for what's going on here. But, man, it seems to me that when any website, even if it's crypto media, it's like most of the people that are writing about Ripple and XRP, it's abundantly clear that they're covering it, and maybe they're really trying, but it's clear to me that many of them just don't have a proper understanding of the ecosystem surrounding XRP and even RippleNet. And yet, we get articles with opinions and stuff kind of like this. So we'll be talking about it. I also want to share with you an update. I put out a video just yesterday about this story. So this was not an article. Like I covered this in a video. I was interacting with this guy on the Twitters. Because he said that XRP probably may never reach $1, let alone $10. And his rationale was completely bogus, and so I had a back and forth with him, and he wasn't nasty, but, not to me, he wasn't nasty about it, but he wasn't making sense, and he didn't like facts being presented that didn't align with his narrative, and he ended up blocking me. So he wasn't like overtly rude or mean to me, and so nothing against the guy. I think it's kind of silly and not really the adult way to approach things. Not willing to consider opinions that are different than your own, especially when confronted with actual facts that negate your narrative. And so I went through that. I tore it all apart in a video just yesterday. And then this article comes out on the same topic. And that guy already had thousands of followers, so all sorts of people saw it. I don't like it because of what it can do. Like this will influence people's decisions on buying and selling, and if it's false information, to me that's not good. And so then it gets picked up by Ethereum World News here. And so I ended up having a back and forth with the author of this article, who, by the way, ended up, as far as I can tell, seemed like a perfectly nice, reasonable individual. So I was happy to see that. But I want to share with you the back and forth there and like what's going on, because I appreciate that he was willing to address the concerns that I put forth here. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Don't cost nothing, son. Take my free content, damn it. All right, let's dive in here. So, Ripple tries to diversify as it faces headwinds from the banks. Okay, tell me more. What do you have to say here? I'm sure I'm going to learn something. Ripple has created one of the most valuable cryptocurrencies. Oh my God, Ripple did not create XRP. It's a fact. It was created, but this is provably so. That XRP, it was created before Ripple was a company. Provably so. Oh my gosh. Anyway, its digital tokens, known as XRP, have a total value of almost $30 billion behind only Bitcoin and Ether. But by the way, so on the bright side, they're considering what would be what I consider to be the true market cap, which is total supply times the current market rate, which would include everything in escrow, because consider this, all of the XRP that exists, it's already been issued. Ripple is not the issuer. They didn't create XRP. So whether or not XRP is in escrow is not a determining factor as to whether or not something is considered to be issued. And once it's issued, it becomes part of the market cap. So they actually get that part right. Bravo. Even Live CoinWatch, which I'm a fan of. I do like Live CoinWatch. They get it wrong. CoinMarketCap gets it wrong. But they got it right here, and Forbes gets it right in their market cap listings, as does Yahoo. But other than that, I don't know what's so freaking hard about it, man. But what they're calling market cap, it's fine to calculate that, but it's not actually market cap because you're not including the total supply. Just call it something else and we're cool, but they're not doing that. They're hijacking the term market cap. Anyway, but 8 years after launch, Ripple is still trying to find compelling uses for the blockchain technology underpinning its currency that would justify such a high figure. That's nonsense. XRP is being used in enterprise commercial software today, like literally today. Now, the only way you could potentially justify that sentence is if you're talking about Ripple's Spring initiative, which does fund entities that are out there and finding clever ways to use XRP, but I don't get the sense that's what they're talking about here. XRP, as far as their business model, they are laser focused. Have you read Brad Garlinghouse's, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse's, have you read his Peanut Butter Manifesto? If you don't know what that is, just Google it. It's a thing. It's awesome. I actually covered it in a video a long time ago. They are laser focused, okay, on the use case for XRP. It's at the core of their freaking business model. And that's why, so think about it. So Ripple, they haven't had their IPO yet. Brad Garlinghouse has made it super clear it's coming, though. And so the $10 billion valuation of Ripple, that's the most recent valuation. All these smart people that have thrown money in, they just did the Series C funding late last year. They all understand that XRP is at the core of this. They're not trying to find, oh my God, it's like an experiment. What do we do with this XRP stuff? No, that's garbage. Now, in an effort to draw more users, it has struck out in a new direction to try to become the Amazon of the cryptocurrency world. Now that I kind of like. Using its platform to support activities far beyond the original cross-border payment system it hoped to build. The popularity of XRP has driven the value of its coin up. Ripple is also still sitting on about 55% of the total supply, worth around $16 billion at current prices, far overshadowing its underlying technology business. As a result, the value of the company is tied mainly to the XRP with an option on a small software business, said one former executive. Well, I mean, look, I understand that XRP is a tremendous, like I just said, it's the core of their business model. This should not be taken as a negative, in my humble opinion here. And when you consider the notional value of XRP, like, look, when valuing the company, coming up with what it's worth, it is absolutely taken into consideration that if XRP were to be unloaded, and I understand tons of it's in escrow, but let's just say they kept unloading escrow after escrow and dumping on the market, which is not what they're doing. But let's just say they did that. It would drive down the price of XRP, and that effect is known. It's a known factor, and so when they're considering the value of XRP, they actually take that into account, because it's not the case that Ripple's XRP holdings, even in escrow, is going to, whatever that is, it's not going to be directly related into the price. No. They factor in that if they were to unload it, how the market would react, which makes the company worth less than it would otherwise be if you didn't take that into consideration, which is the right way to do it. That's perfectly fine. But Ripple's original aim to build a more efficient wholesale cross-border payment system has made slow headway, with the banks that were the original target for the technology. Santander invested in Ripple in 2015 and recently chose not to use XRP at the heart of an ambitious new international payment network, a sign that even some of Ripple's strongest backers do not see a use for its core technology. And I mentioned this yesterday, it keeps coming up here, and it's a fair point. Like, this is a real thing. They did state that they're not going to be using XRP, but consider this right now. First of all, there aren't that many corridors open, and also humans have not devised a solution for the train wreck that is the world of global cross-border payments and settlement. So, to be clear, what I'm stating there is that the legacy financial system, we're talking about SWIFT with the notion of Osher accounts, which is a train wreck. The only solution that humans with their big old brains have come up with requires the use of a decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market value. And I do mean both those factors have to be there. It has to be decentralized and have an open market value. And that plays into just how important trust is in all this. It's not just that the technology has to be lightning fast, which it is, 1,500 on-chain transactions per second with XRP, but it's not just the technological aspect. It's the trust part, and that's why decentralization is key. It cannot be centralized, or this whole business model doesn't freaking work. It just doesn't, right here. And so, given that's the case, if Ripple continues to find success and more corridors open and liquidity increases, and even price, if it increases the price of XRP, because you do need a blend of price and sufficient blend of price and liquidity to make this all work. If that happens, that's the solution. Right now, there are only so many corridors, though, and I get why you wouldn't use XRP. For most businesses, it's not going to work. There's only a handful of corridors open. But if this continues going the way that we think and hope it will, there is no other solution. So Santander, I'm sorry, if you want to compete in the future with anybody, any other, whether it's a bank or remittance company, if you want a chunk of the pie as far as payments around the globe, you might not have a choice. If this all goes the way that we're hoping and thinking that it will, and given that there is no other solution devised by humans to date, what do you think is going to happen? there's a reason I am Mr. XRP Bull, and we'll see. I'm not offering financial advice. I'm just saying here. Now let's go ahead and jump into this piece titled XRP may never reach $1, let alone $10, says crypto analyst. Oh my gosh. So let's share the tweet here. This is from Timothy Peterson, who blocked me. Wrote Ripple, hashtag Ripple, and then wrote XRP may never reach $1, let alone $10. So I guess he thinks Ripple and XRP are the same thing. I'm not completely sure if he's the way he wrote it, but won't reach $1, may not reach $1 or let alone $10. The user growth just isn't there, and digital fiat is a threat. It is one of Grayscale's smallest funds, so it doesn't seem like there's much investor interest either. Now that's bogus, and I'm not going to spend much time explaining why. I will explain why, because I understand not everybody saw the video I put out yesterday, and I need to add context here. As far as the author here, so like he sufficiently covered this portion of the story, and even, and to his credit, wrote this section here, this little subheading, the Flare network can increase XRP's user base. And to his credit, he found an alternative reason that perhaps the user base would increase. The beef that I have with this, though, and it's nothing against him personally, again, he seemed like, when I was interacting with a perfectly nice, reasonable human, but the beef that I have was that he was not addressing, like, he was basically accepting what Timothy Peterson said here about XRP never getting to $1 potentially. He was taking that premise as if it were fact. And really, you should have an opposing viewpoint to that premise if you want to make it completely level playing field. It's like, let Timothy Peterson say his piece. Of course, I love diversity of thought, and I think that people are going to be able to make their own determinations if presented with two sides of a story here. But there weren't really two sides of a story, and that's why I still credit him for bringing up a positive as to why it can increase. He cited Flare, but that assumes that this premise is accurate. That's where I had a problem with it here. And so I wanted to share this because I got this, it was James Rule XRP that brought this to my attention, and he tagged me, so thank you very much for tagging me. I do appreciate that. And so I ended up retweeting that, which he linked to the article, and I wrote, holy hell. This is why it's worth calling out nonsense about XRP. I was debating the guy in this article yesterday, and he blocked me. Yay, more FUD about XRP in the universe. I already made a YouTube video explaining why this guy is off the rails before this article came out. And then Martin Valk, and I appreciate this as well, he's the one that tagged the author here. With the author, where's the guy's name here? Let me scroll up here. It was John P. Naju. I'm going to butcher last name. Sorry, it's not intentional. Naju. I'm not sure to say. But anyway, it's John. I know to say John. That's for damn sure. So anyway, it tagged John, wrote, I hope you are ashamed of yourself. He had a little gift there. And then John responded and wrote, please read the article, especially the last section on Flare. Come on, dudes. I try to provide both sides of any opinion. And so I do believe that he was operating in good faith. So it's not I hope this doesn't, I don't think it is going to come off as like too harsh on him. I'm just sharing an opinion where it's like, I would have changed a very important key thing. But I do suspect he's operating in good faith here. I just think it could have been a little different and better. So here's what I wrote in response to kind of clear this up. The part about Flare is fine, and I appreciate the effort to try and balance things out. The problem is that Peterson's narrative is not grounded in reality, and there's no opposing viewpoint on the specifics he cited. There are over 5,000 cryptos in existence. There are only 5 cryptos in Grayscale's fund, and XRP is one of them. To twist that into being a negative, as Peterson did, is disingenuous, especially considering that they recently doubled their investment in XRP, and I provided a link as evidence to that. I then wrote, I also shared with Peterson yesterday this chart proving continued XRP adoption with activated accounts exceeding 2 million about a month ago, and it's on your screen right now. I then wrote, I then shared this link showing that within roughly the last 30 days, there have been about 90,000 new accounts created, showing probably the fastest XRP growth in the history of the ledger. Peterson didn't like these facts, so he blocked me. And then I tagged John, and I wrote, John, if you choose to write anything on this topic in the future, it would be worth sharing facts like these to balance things out. Peterson's nonsense FUD will affect how people invest their money, and that's really disturbing to me. John responded and wrote, sounds good. XRP is not going anywhere, so do not worry too much. Its technology speaks loudly and will continue to do so. Thanks for the additional numbers and facts. I'll definitely keep them in mind for future XRP work. Much appreciated. And so I think he comes across to me as a nice professional gentleman here, and so I can appreciate that. And he was willing to take my critique, which of course, I mean, hopefully it's super clear at this point. My critiques, not remotely personal. They're just critiques. That's it. And again, I do think that he was operating in good faith. If he weren't operating in good faith, I don't think he would have bothered to even attempt to balance out the article. And so he didn't balance out the way that I would have done it, but there was at least some sort of effort there. And so all good in my book. And clearly, what he wrote at the end there, he's still cool with XRP. Doesn't think it's going anywhere, and he thinks the technology, quote, speaks loudly and will continue to do so. So I'm on board with that. Anyway, that's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!